Burgundy, and welcome to Next Gen News.
All right, guys, we're doing a podcast with yours truly, the Central Coast king of supplements and sports nutrition, Mr. Aria. What's your middle name?
Don't have one.
Don't have one, Pourbozorgi.
Morning, Ryan.
Thanks for joining me today, Aria.
Nah, it's all good, mate. Pleasure.
Give me the bio, mate. Give me the 2-second snippet of who you are, why you do what you do, and yeah.
Yeah, so as Ryan said, my name's Aria. I own Next Gen Nutrition along with my business partner, Dax. We opened on the Central Coast about 6 years ago now, at the first location in Aria. And just basically opened the business because we saw a massive hole in the market, and we're very passionate about what we do and wanted to give back and create something that we both love, and through that passion would obviously on flow to the customer.
Absolutely. What's your biggest focus in your business?
Innovating, being different.
Yeah.
We've always been like that since day one. We've always tried to bring in new products, design different sort of apparel. We always try to think outside the box, because that was the problem that we found. Everyone was just doing the same shit. It was just rinse and repeat, the same boring crap. And I think if you're any business, you have to be more than just a shop or a business. You have to have a purpose, and there has to be a reason that you do what you do.
And go deep with the reason. Like, what was, if you could articulate in a sentence or two, or even some words, what was your reason? What was Dak's real reason? Like, what was the biggest reason that this business got created? Obviously innovation, but go raw on it. What was?
Well, obviously, for those that don't know, me and Ryan used to work with each other many years ago at a surf shop. And through that, I think you were the manager at that point, weren't you?
Still am, mate.
No, still is the manager.
I was a 2IC.
You know, I was there for a period of time. I think all up, I was there for about 6 years. And that was just an example, but it didn't matter what job I had. I felt that I always could bring more to the table. But to one point, you only want to go so far, because at the end of the day, it is just a job. And when you're in those big companies, you sort of don't get listened to. You might have a good idea, but when you voice the opinion, it sort of get brushed under the rug. So the same sort of thing happened. So when I first met Dax, I had a video production business, and I went into the store that he was working at. So he was working at another supplement store. Had a chat to see if they wanted to do a promo video, and he said yes. And out of all the clients, he is pretty much one of the only ones that I remain friends with, still to this day, obviously. Couple of years down the track, I end up getting a job at that supplement store with Dax. And then sort of obviously our friendship grew. We started hanging out more. We started to realize that we have a lot in common. Then in that company, there was a big shake up in the managers and the way the business ran. Again, I was voicing a lot of opinions to that business, which I thought could help it grow. Through my skills like video, graphic design, creativity, but again, they're just getting brushed under the rug. So after the structure got shaken up, and that business kind of lost its purpose to us. Like, at one point, we loved it, we sort of got over it, and I said to him, "Hey, why don't we do our own thing? I'm sick of having all these ideas, not being able to do anything." You know, I don't like the apparel, I don't like the subs, I don't like the structure, I don't like everything that's happening here. What's stopping us from doing our own thing? And that's where we started. So we started just in the garage of our parents' place, of my mum and dad's place, meeting people in car parks. They'd come to the warehouse, which is the garage, and pick up subs until we raised enough money to get our first store. So yeah, it's been a fun ride, definitely. There's obviously been a lot of hurdles, there's been a lot of pains, there's been a lot of successes. But yeah, both of us, I think, we're very passionate about what we do, and that was the whole reason we started it. We basically sacrificed everything to start that business. Obviously house deposits, we both had house deposits, and if anyone knows the housing market, if we bought back in then, we'd be doing pretty good. But we sacrificed everything. We put all our money on the line. I didn't pay myself, or we didn't pay ourselves for almost 12 months. Literally drained my savings to zero until I said, "Oh, do you reckon I could, you know, I was at that time, I was pretty much doing most of the website, the deliveries, the things like that. Dax was still PTing, and I said to him, "Hey man, I've got no money left. Do you reckon I could pay myself like $400 a week just to get by?" From there, it's just funny how things grow. And then I think once you go all in on something and there's no other option, you kind of are forced to level up. You're like, shit, I've got no money now. I need to do something. I need to increase my sales. I need to do marketing. I need to get new customers.
It's the name of the podcast, mate.
What's that?
Level Up.
Is it really?
Dead set.
There you go.
Just created it 2 days ago. So you're obviously the perfect ambassador for the podcast.
Sweet. Put my face on the background.
I want to annoy you a little bit. You are very passionate. Dax is very passionate. Mikey's very passionate. Everyone in your circle is super passionate. But I still want to know why. I want to know about this problem in the industry. I want to know clearly what it was, and I want to know why you're so passionate, or why you were so passionate to fix it, and that you're on your mission and journey to fix it. Okay? Because I know you love innovation, and I know you're an insane creative. I know you're passionate as hell, and I know your business partners are, by the results that you get for people. But I need to know what was that burning desire or pain in terms of how you wanted to help people that I suppose fueled those years, those days, those months, those weeks where you were getting no pay, or you were getting $400 a week. What was the thing? What was
it's going to be different for the three of us. Like, my pain was the fact that I was seeing all this stuff happen, and I was like, I know I can do that better. So why am I doing it for myself? No, the apparel there was shit. It was so bad. Crap material, crap logos. There was no like innovation. It's like, okay, this thing was cool maybe 10 years ago. Why is it still coming out with a new logo on it? Like, and same with the products. Like, there's so many different ways and different ingredients, and like, I get real OCD with design. I think any creatives are like that. I'm sure the boys here are the same. If you see something that's off, like a logo or a color, you can't stop looking at it. You're constantly like, fuck, that looks shit. Like, why would they do it like that? And it was that point. It was like, to the point where I was like, what is the point of me doing this when I know I can do it better? And we'll come up with some pretty stiff competition at that point, like being two young guys, not much behind us, gone up against two chains in the same area with a lot of money behind them. But that's the only thing I put it down to. It's the passion. It's like, there is no plan B. This is what I want to do, so I need to make it work. That was it.
And I think you'd vouch for this. I've had this conversation with you a lot over the years, but in particular the last 12 months, where I've spoken about your skill sets, because you just mentioned we all had different reasons, and your reason was you wanted to innovate, you wanted to be relevant, you wanted to create, you wanted to give the people something that had so much insight behind it, and could get them a result, could have them feel a certain way, could have them get results through supplements, not just being supplements. Then there was Dax, who I see so much value in, because he really is a pioneer of the supplement industry. He knows his product, he knows the ingredients, he wears, if this makes any sense, nutrition on his sleeve. Like, he's really the godfather of understanding.
On the coast, Dax was the guy.
Still
is the guy. Like, there is, out of all the stores on the coast, there is no one in better shape. There's no one that lives and breathes it more. Like,
4 a.m, you was there yesterday at the gym.
Yeah.
Like, he's a scientist.
Yeah.
Like, he's the mad scientist who knows nutrition, knows supplementation, and knows how to get people the right real results.
It's that. And in a business sense, Dax is like, my OCD is obviously, like I said, the design and creativity and things like that. His is getting shit done. Like, if something is not happening, his patience is zero, zero patience. And he knows that, because we often speak about it. But if there's something that is, if there's something getting delivered that isn't coming, he's onto it. If there's a delivery that hasn't shown up, he's onto it. If a store needs a delivery for a sale weekend and he has to drive it there, he's onto it. Like, again, it comes back to passion. He loves what he does, and he loves this industry, but he is like, that's his OCD is getting stuff done.
So why does Dax, now that we're moving on to Dax, why does Dax Why is Dax so passionate about wanting to help?
Like you said, he's on the coast. He's like the godfather. He of subs. Yeah. He worked in the first proper supplement store on the Central Coast. He was kind of one of the first guys to ever sort of compete around our age group in bodybuilding. He's prepped so many different guys. He's done basic diets for so many different people and helped them on their fitness journey, whether they were overweight or trying to build muscle or trying to get fitter for fight camp or whatever it might be. He's passionate about helping people. And obviously that passion has sort of flown over into the next gen as well through the next gen challenge as well. So, Dax's passion is definitely helping people. He likes to see other people do well. And like I said, he just likes to get stuff done.
And I think I saw it. I explained it on the podcast I did with Mike, so I'm not going to elaborate too far on this. But I've seen that with Mike. There's been a huge shift in Mike the last 2 years in particular. And this is the guy that's reached the pinnacle of success. And the irony is he's very self-aware, but he's very in control of his ego. And I've seen that a lot lately where he's so freaking pedantic like Dax now on what's going into magic sups as well. He's so obsessed with it because he says, if I don't believe 110% on what is in these tubs that is getting people these results, then I'm not selling it. Like the conviction level is through the roof, and it's the same as Dax. It is to help people. It's to get a result for people. It's not just to be passionate, because I think passion misses something. It misses the understanding of how we actually bring that passion to help someone get a phenomenal result. And so that's what I've seen you all do in your different lanes, which I love. You are creative. Your designs are amazing. You're very in tune with your creative side, but you also enable people to be very fashionable. You enable them to have very ethical products that they're using that aren't just sold products, but they're the right products, and you always make a deal about that. This is right for you. This next gen challenge tier that I've got is for you and what your goals and objectives are. It's not a one size fits all. You're always thinking, how can I create more for the individual to get the results right for them? Mike's doing it through magic sups like never before, and Dax is the mad scientist that makes sure the ingredients are exactly what they need to be.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clear that up because I've seen it so much, and it needs to be told. So thanks for that.
Yeah,
mate.
it's like you said, Mike's had a big shift as well. But it's to the point now where on that ingredients thing, he'll come to me with a formula, but then we kind of have to work backwards because the retail price of that product for a pre-work, this is just an example, we're working on a new product at the moment, it's a mass gainer. The original formula he sent through would mean that the retail price for about 25 serves would have been $200. And I'm like, no one's paying $200 for a 25 serve mass gainer. And he's like, yeah, but look at the ingredients. And I was like, okay, it is a ripper formula, but we kind of have to work back. So we've come up to this, I was just onto the phone to him then, we've come up to this point where it's like, he comes with the formula, I come with the pricing, and then we kind of meet in the middle. Because it's all well and good to have like a jacked up formula on supplements, but if people can't afford it, they're just going to sit there collecting dust. You kind of have to meet in the middle. Yeah.
And that's the old cost versus value
Yeah.
differentiator, and that's mainly my fault. A lot of that, because I'm big with Mike on it. It doesn't matter about cost. If you can outweigh the cost with the value, then it's the cost of not doing it that's the problem. So that's coming from me.
Thanks, mate.
But it also is about working with market value
Balancing
and
it
not
out,
blowing
yeah.
the whole industry to smithereens.
Yeah.
But it's finding a happy medium, but making sure the focus is on the value, it's on the product, it's on the results that the product gets, and then cost is a little bit irrelevant to a degree.
Yeah.
So why don't we take this a little bit negative for 5 seconds? We may as well. You can shoot a question at me if you want, or I can just keep probing you. I don't really mind.
Good.
Tell me about the hardest thing, the worst thing, the stay up late at night thing, the anxiety riddled thing in business that you've experienced.
Yeah,
you were like,
You already
This
know the
is-
answer to this. That's
that's
why
why I
you
asked the
say it. I
question.
know.
I'm happy to jump in and help you with it, but I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Let's go deep, man.
Yeah,
I want
so
you
this
to
is-
rip that wound open.
This
and
is all.
start shanking
Before
it.
we start, this is all Ryan's fault. This pain. So.
So strategic advisory, Ryan Bottitude. If you want me to screw up some more stuff, join the podcast. Hopefully I can help.
He's amazing at what he does. I wouldn't trust him with anything. I'm joking.
That's me, Ryan Bottitude. Do not trust me with the dollar. I'm in the financial services game.
He's the best in the game, honestly. He is the best in the game. But 2000, when was it? 2000.
You have to say that, mate. Let's be honest.
Thanks for the 50.
Like, this podcast never airs if you don't say that. Sorry.
I think it was 2008. What year did you leave that place?
That place.
2000.
I left that place. What is it? Like
18?
At a Harry Potter when they say you must not speak of that name and it's Voldemort.
And all the lightning goes.
Yeah. So that make sure the video guys get the lightning going off. Left in 2018, February
Yeah.
6th to be exact.
Yep,
according to the
2018.
legal documentation.
So
and we started working together.
Well, no,
A
we
little-
didn't.
Sorry, we didn't work together for a long time.
We used to have
Put
a
up
copy
last
week. 2000, yeah. So it's 2018. So before that, Ryan was doing. So we opened the shop in 2016. Ryan was doing our books for till 2018 till he left. And in that period, we opened. I think it was this sort of like through that 2018 period, we opened another 2 shops, which obviously present a lot of time issue management things in themselves. And I kind of took the foot off the pedal and was more focused on what was happening in the shop, kind of let the ordering get done by the manager in the shop at the time, and kind of just fell out of touch with what was happening in the shop. And for anyone that doesn't know, in the fitness industry, you can either run on 30-day terms or you can run prepaid. I like to run prepaid because I like to know that what's on the shelf is our stock. We don't have to worry about a big bill coming at the end of the month and getting carried away with ordering. So everything we buy is prepaid. So you pay for it and then they send the stock. In that 6 months or 7 months, something like that, something happened where 2 of our biggest suppliers just put us on 30-day terms. So there was a bit of a miscommunication between everyone involved because stock was rocking up. I assumed it had been paid for by someone else, and obviously they thought the same. So it got to the sort of, I think it was about November 2018, and we got a invoice account bill for about $100,000, and I was like, holy shit. And when you think that things have been paid for and you've invested more money into your business, and then you get a bill for something which you think's been paid for, how the fuck do you come up with that money? You don't have $100,000. I've spent it on other things. So I went back through, checked off all the invoices. I was like, shit, nah, this must be a mistake. Went through the bank account. Lo and behold, none of it's been paid. So I was like, all right, shit. What are we going to do? So, all right, let's get a loan. Let's pay that off, and then we'll chip away at the loan. Like the business world always does, it will throw you a spanner. And obviously during that period, after Ryan kind of left, the accounting obviously got forgotten about as well. And then we got a tax bill of about $100,000, which was due immediately. So that was $200,000 to come up with.
In 10 minutes.
Yeah, in 10 minutes. And I was like, we're fucked. We're going to have to close the doors. Like, how the hell do we come up with $200,000? Like, there is literally, like, we're fucked. So I think I kind of just brushed it. I developed fucking hectic anxiety from it, because just having that amount of debt over your head when you don't have it, like, I don't know what people think, but the markup in supplements isn't big. Like, it's not big at all. So to make that kind of money, you got to sell a lot of supplements, like a shitload of supplements. And then on other, you've got all your normal expenses like rent, wages, utilities, everything else. So $200,000, I sat down with Dax. We both just kind of looked at each other and were like, fuck, what are we going to do? I said, I really don't know. I said, I got a call from the tax department, like I think it was maybe a month later. And he was like, mate, you're going to have to pay this like now. I was like, man, I don't have the money. He goes, well, how much have you got? I was like, maybe 50. He goes, all right, well, you're going to have to pay that now. I said, I can't. Like, if I do that, I've got no money left. And he said, well, you're going to have to do it, mate. And I kind of just hung up on him. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, there has to be a way around it. Anyway, linked up with Ryan. It would have been early 2019 and kind of voiced my problem. And man, he came up with a solution. He I don't know if I should say what you did, but
I don't really care, to be honest with you. I preach that this podcast is real.
Yeah, Ryan got on the phone.
Based.
Ryan got on the phone and pretended to be me, and got us
You're
over.
out there and you're working for the ATO. This is not your podcast. Choose the other podcast. It's called complying with everything in life and never getting nowhere.
He got on the
Got
phone.
my whole reputation.
I still remember it was sitting at that breakfast table, and you were sitting there going, "What's your date of birth?" And I was like, 5886.
Best conversation I've ever had.
What's your address? Anyway, man, like to this day, I can't thank you enough because we ended up getting on a payment plan, which was it was a lot of money. It still had to be paid off in a year. So that 2019 year was just a fucking disaster. Like, we didn't make a cent. We went backwards, kind of like when you work, and then we had to work even harder to keep things afloat. So when you're working, 4 times as hard and you're getting nowhere, it's so hard to stay passionate, man. It's so hard. It is so hard. And, then things get thrown in your face. Like that year I found out Mum had cancer, going through all that on top of it. Like by June, July, August, I had like severe anxiety, like terrible. And I'm a very positive guy. Like I can get my head out of everything. And I remember one night laying in bed and waking up and feeling like I couldn't breathe. My heart was beating through my chest. Nothing happened. And I was like, shit, I'm having a heart attack. And I went to dial the ambulance and I was like, nah, you'll be right. Just get yourself out of it. And I walked around the room a bit, started seeing little black dots. I was like, nah, I'm about to pass out here. So, but something told me it wasn't that, like it wasn't my heart. It was something else. So I kind of laid there. I chilled myself out. But then it kept happening day after day, week after week. And finally, being a stubborn male, you finally go to the doctor like a month later. And she was like, she did all these tests and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, what do you do for work? And I said, I own business. She goes, are you stressed? I said, a little bit, but not bad. She goes, I think it's just anxiety. And I was like, no, I don't have anxiety. Like, no way. Like, I'm such a positive guy. I don't have it. She goes, no, it probably is. Anyway, I left there stubborn as fuck. And I was like, no, I don't have it. And it wasn't until I started talking to other people in business, and actually Jake was one of them from G6. He was one of them I spoke to him. He's like, bro, 100% is. Like, is this what happens? I was like, yeah. I was like, fuck, maybe that is it. And it wasn't until then that I kind of learned how to control it, learned why it was happening, and sort of learned through my own sort of way, learned coping mechanisms to stop it from happening. And it's to the point now where it still can happen, but I can feel it almost creeping up my body. But I know now, nah, I just pretty much just say in my head, nah, not today. And it kind of stops. But yeah, I think that's why everyone can't have a business as well, because you know what it's like, man. You've been through it. Like, you went through your own shit fight with all that.
Well, oh fuck, I don't even know how to talk, but like my face is like fucking numb just hearing that, because I resonate with it so much. And a lot of people, a lot of business owners out there think it's just me. I'm just anxious. I'm just stressed. I'm just in a bad position. Aria and Dax would never have a problem. Ryan looks like he's always got his shit together, so he must just never have had anxiety. Jake from G6 is so confident and can speak in front of so many people on social media, yet he's never had it. It's bullshit. Like, I want to say one thing that we get out of this episode, if we get it out of this episode, and that's the only thing anyone listening to this takes away. I was like Aria 4 years ago, super not self-aware, super anxious. A lot of you know my story, back living with mummy and daddy at 32, lost all my clients, including Aria and Dax and Mike and the whole social network, Jacob. I lost every client, like not just anxiety, but staying up all night without sleep, rudimenting on your mind, going round and round in circles, coming up with every possible reason that you're going to fail if you pursue anything. And you had some of those phone calls with me. It's fucking tough. And I walked away from business. I put my hand up and I'll admit it. I bitched right out. Walked away, went and learned how to control my mind, how to control my thoughts, how to not be reactive emotionally to every single thing around me, and the importance of positive thinking, the importance of seeing solutions in your thinking, not filling it with limitations and problems and fears that are going to happen, because then you're obviously going to lead more towards that desire. So I was there, man, and it took me, you saw it, 6 to 12 months, and I was back and I was bigger and stronger than ever. And it set me to where I am today. It's given me the ability to work with clients like yourself, focus more on growing businesses, not just doing taxes, working on myself as the highest priority so I can help others better because I'm more self-aware and established. Had I have not gone through that shit fight of that anxiety, depression, stress, losing money, losing clients, losing fucking everything possible I could have lost, I wouldn't be here. And a lot of the keynote speakers and motivators say, oh, you've got to fail a million times to succeed. There's beauty in the failures. Like we've got to stop running from the failures and we've got to start learning from them. And the reason I asked you that question is because you learnt from it. You learnt what it was to be ignorant. You learnt what it was like to not have control over your purchasing process. You learnt all these things, and I'll vouch, every single time we catch up at 5 a.m. at Bellyfish on a monthly basis and we put a post up, some of which I have the song, Every Day I'm Hustling, which everyone laughs at, you're sitting there to me going, Ryan, what's my numbers? What's my profit? Is there any debt? Is the debt getting paid? What's the tax office payments? You're screaming that down my throat and I'm like, fuck, mate, I just wanted a double shot almond latte. You had to learn that through pain. Pain gives you that learning. You'll never be the same again. You'll never make the same mistake. So why are we all running like crazy from failure when we should be, yes, intelligent and aware and open to problems, but if they happen, as long as we learn from them, they enable us to evolve and change. And that was a big thing for Mike, who's one of your business partners. He was doing phenomenal in business, but then something bad could happen and he wouldn't want to deal with it because it overstressed him and it had some of those impacts like we just spoke about. But this year, no. He's like, no, if I got a problem, if I fuck up, if I do something wrong, if I piss Aria off or Aria pisses me off, I'm going to find the solution.
But I think that's the thing too. Like, I think through business, you're going to get smacked in the face with a baseball bat at one point. And I think it's like, if you have the ability to push through, business, I think, is meant for you.
Fucking nice.
If you don't, that's completely fine. Like, you shouldn't feel like it's the end of the world, but maybe it's just not what you're meant to do kind of thing. It's like, because you're going to keep getting smacked in the face, but you just keep walking forward. It's like, once that first one hits you, it's like you just keep walking through a field of rakes and they're smacking you in the face. It kind of just gets easier. It gets easier and easier, and you kind of get to the point where you're just like, fuck it, all right, what's next? And, you know, Dax, especially through that shit fight at the start, I was trying to keep him level-headed too, and I didn't tell him a lot of things that were going on because in the back of my head, I was like, we're going to get through this, it's going to be fine. So I would kind of tell him a generalized butterflies and rainbows area of what was happening.
I tell myself that every night.
Because I didn't want him to fall into where I was. Because I knew, like I said, I knew in the back of my head we're going to get through it. But now he's got to the point as well where he used to be very reactive, and if something shit was happening, he would kind of dwell on it. Now he's at the same point now as well in business where if something happens, he's like, oh, that sucks, but all right, fuck it, let's just do this and we'll get through it. And, you know, I think you just develop thicker skin the longer you stay in business. And if you can get through that first smack in the face, it does, I feel like it gets easier as long as what you're doing isn't about money. It's about what, like the passion. Why are you doing it? If you're in any business, I think for money, it's going to be short-lived because you're not going to be able to sustain that first smack in the face.
Because imagine being in it for just money, then you owe 200 grand, which is money. You're sort of sitting there going, I'm in it for money and I owe 200 grand. Liquidation and bankruptcy. Where are you? Because for me, some weeks I'm flying and my purpose and my passion are strong and I'm helping people and they're getting good results and their businesses are growing and they're saving money on tax and they're like, yeah, this is amazing. And then every once in a while, I get something bad happen, right? It could be staff are off with COVID. This client doesn't want you to look after them anymore. Something happens and the ego gets a little bit crushed, and I go, oh fuck, that's shit. And even though I'm very aware, I still go, that emotionally doesn't feel very nice whatsoever. And luckily, this higher motive kicks in and goes, hey, it's all about the end game. It's all about why you're here. It's all about the highs and the lows and making sure at least you can die at some point in life and go, I stayed on my path of purpose, even though I had a bunch of like little arrows that got shot at me along the way.
Well, yeah, it's like that. The first time you lose a client, you feel that bit of, oh, what did I do? It's like the same with us. We've lost a lot of customers over the years, but you always gain more, and the ones that you gain seem to be better people, if that makes sense. They're like, you get to this point in business, I think, where at the start, when you're the underdog, everyone's like, oh, we're going to support you. But then you get to a point that you start to do maybe a little bit better than the people around you, and then they back off, and you're like, why are you shopping at a big chain now? Because we had a crack, we put our money on the line, we went through that anxiety, stress, mental breakdown. Like, you gain better people through your business. Like, the shit people will drop off, and that's fine. You don't want the shit people around.
You do, because I won't say shit people. I'll say people that don't value me, my time, or sometimes their own business do leave. It happened twice at the start of this year. People that I put my whole self on the line for, to get them to think bigger, to act bigger, and to get better results, was really diligent with it. And I know it's cost. It's usually, if you can deliver good value, they will be just more attached to cost. And it takes a hit. But the irony is most of the great clients I've got, most of the clients that we love working together and they take action to get results, it's not an issue. So it kind of, your client base refines itself on who values what you do and how you can help them. But the other thing is, when something bad happens again, just like your 200K debt, and a client says, I no longer want to work with you, let's say they were a really good client, nice person, wanted your help and were willing to do the work, but you did F up, right? You did something that was wrong, right? Which I've done with you numerous occasions. If they leave, if they run away, learn from it, just like you did with the money and the ignorance of the money. So to go, cool, I lost a client. They said I wasn't being present enough. I wasn't showing up. I wasn't giving them the right strategies. Whatever it is, go, cool, how am I going to change that for next time? And guess what happens when you change it for next time? You end up getting another 100 of the right clients.
Because
exactly you did what you say. You innovated. You found the solution to the problem. You didn't take it all in an egotistical way. You took it in a like, cool, that's market research. That's us becoming better, which I think is really important, mate. I've been shooting questions at you left, right, centre. What do you got for me, mate? Anything at all?
One thing that I always...
Advice, questions, guidance on these guys, what they need. What you can
One thing that you've done well, and I'm going to give you a little plug here.
Thanks, mate.
I remember when it was just you didn't have an office. This is only a couple of years ago, by the way. You didn't have an office. We used to meet at random places and do the numbers and blah, blah, blah. And now you've invested so much in your business. You're willing to put it all on the line and have a crack because, like you said, like we said, this whole thing, you are so passionate about what you do. 100. You've gone all in, full snack pack on this office, which is like, it's in a pretty premium spot. I know what the rent would be. You've gone all in on that. You've gone all in on a big team. You got 2 media guys now. You got a whole team of accountants. You've got ladies in the office here who are doing things to help you, PAs, whatever. You're the guy who goes all in, and you're not scared to put it all on the line. And if something doesn't work, you're the first to say, "Oh, it didn't work. I'll try something else."
And I think you did that as well. Like, I think you did that as well because you did I never forget it. I went to Terrigal 10 years ago. You go, man, I got 12K on a personal loan. I'm going to set up Next Gen Arena. Fuck you, idiot Ryan. Had I had what I have now in terms of...
Well, yeah, but...
In terms of perspective, I suppose, I should have just given you the money. I'd be sitting here going... Next Gen right now, we're killing it. That's okay. But you've done it as well. You've done it with the 12K personal loan to get you into Aria. Now you've got multi-locations, product ranges that you own through Magic. Like you've got.
Yeah, it's funny, hey, like at that point, I was scratching to try and get a business partner. No one wanted a bar of it.
Man, I'm an accountant.
Like originally when
and he wanted me.
Originally when I went to Dax, he was like 100%, yeah, let's do it. And then we found out that another big chain was coming to Erina, and Dax kind of got cold feet, which was cool because I fully understand where his head was at that point. And it was kind of just me for a bit, and each week I'd kind of send Dax a message and say, hey, I got an order and sold it out. What are you doing? And he'd be like, yeah, I'm just PT, man, just PT. And I was like, fuck, all right, I don't think he's keen. So I started putting the feels out, and I was like, Ryan, I got this idea about opening this up store in Aria. You keen to come in on it? And even Ryan was like, yeah, I don't know. It's not.
Is that offer still out there?
Which office?
The offer.
Oh, the offer. I'll have my people call your people, and
can you guys take a note about this offer? Because I'm willing to buy in at the price that was once there in terms of shareholding. Yeah, I suppose the thing that made I don't do anything better than anybody else. I love what I do. I'm super passionate. I fucking am super passionate. I will say that. I'll never say how great I am. I will say how passionate I am, and I will beat most of people in passion. It's just I love what I do. I love providing advice and strategy so you succeed. But back when I was that anxiety-riddled, depressed person at the age of probably 31, I had the same passion. My passion hasn't changed. I've always loved what I did since I was 18, and I was at school with you, and I was like, I want to grow businesses. That was my thing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like when we were at so me and Ryan went to school together. We've been friends since like year 8. Ryan was like the little nerdy guy I used to get picked on, and I kind of took him under my wing.
Right, that was another Ryan.
No, so was that what you wanted to do when you were that age?
I did.
Okay,
And like Dad said, go do science and go do art and be a school teacher.
Yep.
And I said, I want to know how to become super wealthy. That's the truth. I wanted to know how to grow businesses and become super wealthy.
Yep.
My purpose has changed over time. I still want to grow businesses and become super wealthy. I'm not going to hide that.
Yep.
I also want to help everyone else to do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's why Cooney and me are doing so much stuff together.
100%.
He wants to become wealthy.
Yeah.
He wants to help people to become wealthy. And same with Will, same with yourself. I'm around that crew of people that want to do that. But what I was saying just quickly is back 5 years ago, I still wanted all of that. But it was my own head that got in the way, just like it did with you, because we were thinking the worst possible thing, the worst possible fear. And that hindered me moving until I acknowledged it and became aware of it just like you did, formed a solution, got some advice and some coaching from some people, and then it's enabled me to get into my passion even though shit keeps getting thrown at us.
And let's just say, I just want to clarify something as well, because I have a chat about this to some of my staff who are younger. You didn't find out what you wanted to do until 30, like this? How old were you, 30?
I was 18 when I knew I wanted to grow businesses.
Yep.
I was then an accountant
Yep.
until I was 30.
Yep.
I knew as an accountant I was a partner of a firm, but I knew I wanted more
Yep.
at that point.
Yep.
And what I wanted more was to give more advice to people. I didn't want to be just a tax accountant. I wanted to be someone that could give advice on how to grow your business and your wealth, and also showed you how to know your numbers,
Yeah.
right? So it was at 30.
Yep.
Then I took the plunge
Yep.
and was like, I'm out, guys. I'm going to do my own thing.
Yep.
Got caught by all the stuff that we've been talking about.
Yep.
And then I eventually went, screw it, that's my truth, that's my purpose, I'm
Yeah.
going to pursue it irrespective of what's happened.
Because that's something I just wanted to get across. There's so many younger crew, and when I say younger, it's like 25, sub 25, that are sitting there thinking they have to have their whole life worked out. And it's like, I didn't start next gen until I was 28. Through my whole growing up, like I was just a floater. I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And when you finish school, you have so much pressure to be like, what are you doing? What's your career? And you kind of feel like you're almost getting pushed into that trap of like 9 to 5, 2 weeks of holidays a year, retire at 70, live 20 years and hopefully, and enjoy those years. I think I just want to like get that across, and I try and say this to especially Corey, one of my youngest employees. Like he's very driven as well, but you're young, man. You don't have to have everything figured out I think you need to have if you've got a general idea of what you want to do, yeah, cool. But you don't have to have everything figured out as soon as you finish school. There's so much pressure on young people to have their whole life sorted by the time they finish school.
It's the schooling system. But I think the thing that I kept listening to you really deeply then was it's not about figuring out what you want to do. It never is. It never was with me. It's about feeling out what you want to do. Okay. And I'm a big on the fluffy spiritual side of feeling things in. When you feel really freaking good about something, that's a sign. Like if I feel,
it's always a gut feel.
Really good talking to you right now
Yep.
about helping business owners and people make more money, I know I'm on the right track.
Yep.
If I go and do 140 emails, which undoubtedly I've got sitting in my inbox right now, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to, I know that's a sign,
Yep.
but because we're so in our heads figuring out stuff, we're like, cool, am I a scientist to be, or am I a school teacher, or my mum's shoving down the throat that I need to be a gymnast? That's all good, but don't figure it out and try and formulate mathematically what the hell you're meant to do. Just go what feels good.
Yeah. Dip your toes in the water.
And feel it
I've done
out.
a million different things. I left school. I was studying to be a pilot. I went and got my commercial pilot's license at TAFE. I think you remember that. I was doing flying lessons at Warnervale. Then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be a PT. Went and got my PT. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be a designer. Went to uni, did graphic design. I don't really know what I'm doing with this. Then it was kind of like, it's only when you look back, and you'd know that as well, you kind of realise why you've worked in what you've worked in, why you've studied what you've studied, because now every day I'm doing graphic design.
Yeah.
Where when I was sitting in the uni degree, I was going, I'm only doing this to keep mum and dad happy. I don't want to do this shit.
You almost niched it.
Yeah.
You almost went, doing marketing at uni. Okay, I love doing marketing. I like doing graphics. Don't really like my job. Don't really like who I'm working for. Oh, love the supplement industry. So I'm having fun dancing, right? In the supplement industry, then you kind of blend the two. Like supplement, love to do. Graphics, love to do. Oh, bingo.
Bingo.
I feel it.
You sunk my battleship.
I feel it. Me, when we were back at Surf, Dive and Ski, I like selling.
Yep.
I like helping people get the results and the clothes that they're after.
You love the fish philosophy.
I love the fish philosophy, right? Features and benefits, baby. But I loved that. And then I got into accounting and I was like, fuck, I don't know about it. I love numbers. I love strategies to make money.
Yep.
I love wealth.
Yep.
But I hate this crew that I'm kicking around that all they want to do is shove bills down people's throats with no value.
Yep.
Then I got over to more coaching and I was like, this feels good as well. Now maybe I can feel in the coaching with the sales, with the money, strategic advisory. Feeling it.
That's 100%. Well, that's where it comes from. And that gut feel is the same gut feel that I have had with every business that I've started. The very first time that everyone was kind of like, I don't want to do it. Something was telling me, just do it. Everything will work out. Just do it. Everything will work out. And every business that we've started, whether it's with Dax or Mike or whoever it might be, if that gut feel isn't there, and we're all the same now. If the gut feel isn't there, we just say no. Like, me and Dax now, we had a business offer a couple of weeks ago. The gut feel just didn't feel right. I don't want to do it. Open a new store here. The gut feel just doesn't feel right. Let's just pull the pin. I think it's you learn as you go on. Listen to your gut. Listen to that intuition. It just works. If you have that desire, and you'll know what that feeling is. I can't describe what it is, but it's just this feeling like everything's going to be all right. This is the way you have to go.
Yeah.
If that is there, go with it. If it's not there, I don't know. I'm not here to give.
I think you got two ways. You got the gut feel, the intuition, this is my life's purpose. Let's just do it. Who cares about figuring it out? I kind of feel where I need to be. I feel it out. The second part is when you're doing it and it's feeling right because you're in the action. You're not just feeling out the future. You're feeling out the action. You're not just feeling out that I should be a salesperson. You're actually starting to sell and it feels really freaking good. Then you go, I was right. That gut feel was right. I feel good now. I'm going to keep doing this and maybe just refine it and expand on it with my business opportunities, which you've done. Bro, thanks so much.
Pleasure, bro. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your business.
Appreciate
Next Gen
you.
Nutrition.
Strategic advisory.
Check it out.
Cue the music.